Here I have added the front coupler and also the charging jack on the back so that I do not have to take the battery out. I'm going to do a little switching test, if you will. And what I'm going to wind up doing is taking the boxcar. Let's use this one here. We'll take that first boxcar and maybe put it over here on that siding, and then we will take the smaller boxcar and we'll drop it over here on this siding, and then we will put those two cars at the end of the train and pull away. So I'm not going to do a lot of narrating while I do this. I'm going to focus on the train itself. So let's give it a fair shake and see how it works. So we're going to start it up. I'm using the Blue Nami 4408, and this is an awesome controller. So we're going to scan for it, and it's connected. And now we're going to load it up. And I'm going to go to work. So we got a headlight. We also have the reverse light. So we're in good shape there. So let's get busy. And we also have a bell. I think I've said this before, but the layout that I'm actually doing my switch testing is a layout that I put together for this particular process, and it's a very simple layout with two sidings. Each siding has a magnet that I shift using an Arduino board. And the main line, actually where that third boxcar is right about now, there is another magnet that allows the uncoupling. So I can uncouple on both sidings and I can uncouple on the main line there. And with those three uncoupling areas, I'm able to manipulate or reposition any of the cars in any portion of the train, and also all of the wiring. I could have put the wiring underneath the board, but since this is a test layout and I wanted to show actually how everything was wired up, so you can see the Arduino there in the bottom left corner. I'm using a 5-volt power supply. And you see those boxes, the different colored boxes. Well, those boxes actually are positioned in such a way with the colors. The control panel in the lower left corner of this board has a button with a top on it that corresponds to each one of these colors. And you can see part of that control panel there on the left. Of course, it's out of frame now. So, for instance, if I press a green button, then that servo where that green box is right from the power supply, you'll notice there's a LED on top. That LED will light up whenever that servo is active. Now the servo is active in one or two ways. If it's active, that means there's a task going to happen. And in this case, that green box is where the uncoupling is. So that means if that LED is lit, then I can use the uncoupling feature. You can see that magnet there. It actually shifts. And then the other lights, for example, the red light or the red box right on the other side of the flat car, that box is for the switch. And if that light is on above the red box, then that means that switch is active, and therefore the train is going to go off into the siding. So right now you can see that the green light is on, so that means I can uncouple, and also a red light is on, so that means that I can actually get into that siding. And you're going to see that here in just a moment, because as long as I'm pulling forward, then each car is going to open that switch so that it can pass through. But as soon as this car here passes, you'll notice the switch will close, and now I can back into the siding. So that's one of the unique features about this particular design, is that my switches can be controlled, and yet I can also run a car through it without fear of it being derailed. So there you can see the green box has the LED lit. Now the LED goes out because the magnet just shifted over. And you'll notice the red box, it's going to go out, and the switch was shifted. But notice on the other side, the blue box, the light has lit there. And that means that if I back the train up, I'm going to go into that siding. So we're not going to go into that siding right now, because I'm going to unhook the flat car, which you notice the white box, the LED is lit, and therefore I can unhook from the flat car, which I've just done. Now I'm going to back the train up and grab that flat car, and then I'm going to connect the box cars to the flat car. Now that we've dropped off those two box cars, we're going to put those on the end of the train. And I think we will just go and pick up that one first, and then put this one on the back of the train. So it looks like we've completed my little switching task. So let's go ahead and pull the train away. Well, it does good pulling forward. Let's see how it does backing it up. And now we're just going to unhook from the train, separate the engine or the switcher. Not bad for a test run.